A reality check on climate change. California's governor teams up with China to invest in a clear future.
Sometimes I'm given very small window of opportunity to get all dialed in and make a decision.
As more drug drivers hit the road, the specialized training that could help officers on patrol.
We were planning our wedding. Cancer was the furthest thing from our minds.
One of the biggest challenges for women who want to start a family and the risk they may be willing to take. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. National City residents standing up for immigrants who have entered the U.S. illegally. They want city leaders to help protect them and help decrease deportations. KPBS Frontiers reporter Jean Guerrero is at the rally outside the Civic Building. Jean, what's happening there?
Hi, Ebony. I'm here. About 50 people gathered. They're just starting to disperse. There were a lot of speakers, and basically they were calling on national city leaders to adopt a resolution that would essentially make National City a sanctuary city. In other words, law enforcement agencies would not arrest people just because they entered the country illegally. As you can see, some of the people who are still here are holding up signs saying things like, no more deportations, let's keep families together. They're also here expressing solidarity with two national city parents who are currently in deportation proceedings. Border Patrol arrested the couple outside their home 2 weeks ago. Immigrant rights activists say this was a random and inhumane operation. I spoke with the family's son, Francisco Duarte, who told me what it was like to discover that his parents were being deported.
Something that you would never think about, that it would happen to your family, that one day you're just living a normal life. One day I'm a college student, the next day I'm taking care of my 3 siblings.
Border Patrol says it does not conduct random operations and issued a statement earlier saying that the Duarte couple was suspected to be involved in human smuggling activities. However, no charges have been filed, and the couple's son denies the Border Patrol's statement.
So, Jean, can you tell me why is this mother and father's detainment capturing so much attention?
So there's been a lot of fear surrounding rumors that Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Patrol have been conducting random raids, random arrests across the county since the new administration came into effect. But the agencies have repeatedly said that they don't conduct random operations, and immigrant rights groups say that this couple, that their arrest is evidence to the contrary, that in fact these operations are not always targeted against criminals. So they're just seeing it as evidence that it's changing, that the landscape is changing. Reporting live from National City, Jean Guerrero, KPBS News.
Thanks, Jean. A blow to plans for a new soccer stadium and convention center expansion. San Diego City Council members voted late Monday to kill funding for a special election on both projects. But the matter is not over. KPBS reporter Claire Tragesser has details.
Monday night, the City Council debated whether to pay for an election this November on the Soccer City project and a hotel room tax increase to fund the convention center expansion and homeless programs. But the council voted 8-1 to kill the election funding and spend it instead on police overtime. Councilwoman Barbara Bree said the money could be better spent.
I heard you. I heard you say, keep us safe and save the arts. I heard you ask for more than you got. I adhere to the law and the will of the voters, and I endeavor to save the city $5 million.
Councilman Scott Sherman was the only one who supported spending the money. He said the council should recognize the people who signed a petition asking for the election.
By taking that $5 million off the table for a special election, you are directly denying the people their right to vote. There's no doubt about it. And our job as council members, once the public speaks, is to implement the will of the voter and not our own will.
But the election on the projects isn't dead just yet. The mayor says he will veto the decision. The council would then need 6 votes to override that veto, and already some council members have said they won't vote for an override. Claire Tregeser, KPBS News.
As San Diego leaders debate how much of the $3 billion budget will go to police, SDPD turns to the community to raise more money for resources to protect and serve.
An officer demonstrates commands with his canine partner.
Where is it? There you go, buddy. There you go.
It's one of several police tactics on display at the 17th annual Friends of the Badge luncheon. A fundraising event Police Chief Shelley Zimmerman says the department has come to count on.
There's a lot of funding that is in this year's budget, but there's not enough. And I think everybody, recognizes that. And that's why events like today at Friends of the Badge is so incredibly important to help meet our unbudgeted needs for equipment and training.
Monday, San Diego City Council members voted to add $3 million to next year's fiscal budget to fund more overtime for officers.
We've been short-staffed for quite some time. We're more than 200 below our budgeted staffing right now. And we're having difficulty recruiting.
Zimmerman thinks below-average salaries for a city of this size is a major part of the problem.
Everybody knows that one of our biggest challenges is our recruitment and retention issue. And as chief of police, I believe that we should be the highest law enforcement paid professionals right here at the San Diego Police Department in our county.
Still, SDPD reports the lowest crime rates since the department has been keeping monthly statistics. But the Voice of San Diego reports it can take up to 3 hours for SDPD to respond to some non-emergency calls for help.
Our response times for many of our crime categories are not where we want them to be. And I'll tell you is that the quicker that we can get on scene, the quicker that they're likely to be a positive result.
And that's what Zimmerman says it's all about. The dollar and cents pay for tools needed to make San Diego safer. Organizers of this event have raised more than $4 million over the years for SDPD and say the money raised today will go towards equipment and training.
We have more coverage of the San Diego budget online at kpbs.org. California Governor Jerry Brown signed an agreement today with China to work together on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This comes just days after President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. Governor Brown says it's a temporary setback and says the rest of the world needs to move away from what he calls the carbon age.
We can't afford any dropouts in the tremendous human challenge to make the transition to a sustainable future, which we are not on yet. Disaster still looms, and we've got to make the turn.
Brown also signed similar agreements with 2 Chinese provinces. The deals call for investments in low-carbon energy sources, cooperation on climate research, and the commercialization of cleaner technologies. Governor Brown and other U.S. leaders continue to fire back after President Trump announced his decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. From our sister station in San Francisco, KQED's Marissa Lagos talks to former Senator Barbara Boxer about the governor's defiant response.
It seems like folks like Governor Brown and really leaders around the state and nation are stepping up and saying, we're going to fill this void. I mean, does Paris need the U.S. or are local and state governments going to be just as good?
Look, the Paris Accord was voluntary. That's why this is so ridiculous altogether. It was just an aspirational statement that we all know we're facing a problem and we're going to do everything in our power, to fix it, to reduce the effects of runaway climate change. So what Trump does by leaving it is he's making a statement he could care less. But he does not speak for the majority of Americans. And I have to say, good for Jerry Brown. I'm so proud of our great state and other states that are joining with him. Washington State, New York State, there will be others. And when you look at the size of our state, we'd be about the 6th or 7th nation in terms of our gross domestic product. So this isn't a small point. So yes, we need to resist Trump, and we need to replace the Republicans in Congress who are absolutely standing in the way of common sense goals, such as making sure that we attack the issue of too much carbon pollution.
What do you think Democrats really need to do to win back the House, but potentially win back the White House in 2020?
Well, I think it certainly gets to your other question you asked. Are we getting our message out? We've got to do better at not taking people for granted, at explaining to people we are on their side. If they work for a living, we are fighting for them. If they're women in the workplace, we're fighting for women in the workplace. We're fighting for civil rights. So I think what we need to do is marry the Hillary Clinton message of standing together and the Bernie Sanders message of populism, economic populism. There is no problem between marrying those up. Yes, we stand together, and we stand together for all the people, and we stand against the polluting special interests. So I think we can do it. And I'm very excited about my political action committee, which I'm volunteering for. I keep saying that because I want people to understand this is from my heart. We have some great candidates out there, women and men, who are willing to put themselves on the line because somewhere, somehow, we got lost. Hillary got 3 million more votes than Trump. Right. We should never forget that. But we took certain states for granted. We shouldn't have.
Quickly, you mentioned Bernie and Hillary, and I know we've seen these schisms within the party, both at the state and national level. Is that concerning to you?
Sure it is. And I've lived through times when we've seen that before. What we have to do is understand that we, the Democrats, are a very big umbrella. We simply are. And we shouldn't throw people out from under that umbrella. We should embrace them. And we should come together, find the sweet spot where we all agree. And when there's disagreement around the edges, don't turn on one another. The stakes have never been higher. We have a president who is doing things that go against the interests of the American people. It's frightening, standing with tyrants like Putin. This is unheard of. We've never seen anything like it. So we better unite. We have to unite, and I'm going to do everything that I can to help us unite.
State lawmakers say California can be doing more to protect the state's endangered wildlife populations. A package of wildlife conservation and protection bills is making its way through the legislature. Lawmakers alongside animal advocates gathered today in support of the measures. They say they want to solidify California's position as a leader in animal rights laws.
I think that a lot of what we do in California ends up getting exported to other states and other nations around the world. So when we talk about things like banning shark fin, by showing more respect and providing more humane treatment to animals, these are concepts that are replicated elsewhere.
Lawmakers are also pushing a measure working to increase protections for the endangered vaquita porpoise. Scientists say they're on the brink of extinction, with possibly only 23 left in the world. The California Supreme Court heard arguments today on Proposition 66. That's the measure voters approved in November that speeds up the death penalty process. The measure was suspended on appeal shortly after the election. Opponents argue today that the measure is unconstitutional because of the time restrictions it puts on the courts. But employees at the Criminal Justice Legal Foundation, which helped write the proposition, say they're confident California's high court will rule in favor of voters who supported it.
If the court were to decide some part of this initiative was wrong or unconstitutional, the rest of the initiative would continue to be enforced. So we're pretty comfortable with the fact that it will be upheld.
The court must decide whether to uphold the law or throw it out within 3 months. It's been more than a decade since California's last execution. Federal highway safety officials say drunk driving is on the decline, but driving under the influence of marijuana and other drugs is on the rise. Currently, there's no surefire way for police officers to find out if a driver is drug impaired. In the second part of our 3-part series, KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg takes a look at how police get drug drivers off the road.
We're on patrol with Chula Vista police officer and drug recognition expert Raul Naranjo. He's working the night shift on a Friday. In addition to his own patrol duties, Naranjo gets called out to assist other officers who pulled someone over. He's specially trained to assess whether a driver is drug or alcohol impaired, or both. Early in his shift, he gets a call about a car that ran some stop signs.
The driver of that vehicle lost control, crashed, and took up on foot westbound from the 800 block of Broadway, and now we have officers setting up a perimeter looking for him.
In a few moments, Naranjo stops his car and gets out.
I'm right around here. He's running towards this location. Right there, these apartments there, that's where he's at, somewhere in here.
Officers quickly capture the man and haul him into the station. They suspect he's drunk, but he could be on something else. Naranjo comes in to do an evaluation. He asks the man some questions.
Okay, you can just put your back against the wall. That's fine. Before the officers started pursuing you, like, where were you coming from? Do you smoke marijuana?
I have it for my knee.
For your knee? Okay. So
While Naranjo asks his questions, he pays close attention to the man's face, his eyes, his general demeanor. That's because each drug presents its own clues.
I do smell the odor of an alcoholic beverage when you're speaking. I do see that your eyes are a little watery. They're like bloodshot. And so just based on those observations, I'm going to ask you if you're willing to perform a field sobriety test.
The man agrees, and Naranjo puts him through the paces.
You see the tip of my pen? Yes. I need you to follow the tip of my pen only with your eyes without moving your head, okay? You understand me?
Yeah.
It doesn't take long before Naranjo has seen enough.
At this moment, I'm telling you that you're also being placed under arrest for DUI. And now that you've been placed under arrest also for DUI, you have an obligation under the implied consent law to provide a chemical sample for testing.
The suspect gets his blood drawn. Naranjo asks the lab to check it for alcohol and marijuana. A blood test is the gold standard for determining if a person has alcohol or other drugs in their system. But blood tests are not done in the field, and there's no equivalent of a breathalyzer test for drugs either. The San Diego Police Department recently trotted out a device they say could make identifying drug-impaired drivers a little easier. It's called a Draeger 5000. It's a screening device that tests saliva for the presence of drugs. The machine can identify 7 of the most widely abused drugs, but it doesn't indicate the amount that's in a person's system. San Diego police officer and drug recognition expert John Perdue admits the Draeger isn't a perfect tool.
A good example would be THC. Just because it detects THC doesn't mean the person's under the influence of it. It's still based on what the DRE or the investigating officer sees during an evaluation.
So for the time being, stopping drug-impaired drivers is primarily a judgment call. Naranjo says he's pulled people over that refuse to answer questions or even look at him. They merely hand him their driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance.
Sometimes I'm given very, very, very small window of opportunity to get all dialed in and make a decision on whether this person that I stopped is impaired for the purposes of being out here, not driving his vehicle safely and endangering our members of our community.
As more drug drivers hit the road, there just aren't enough officers like Naranjo and Perdue around. Only about 1% of police officers nationwide are certified drug recognition experts. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Coming up on PBS NewsHour, after Saturday's attack on London, President Trump criticized their mayor on Twitter. But Sadiq Khan says he's more concerned about his invitation from Britain's Prime Minister.
I really couldn't be bothered about what Donald Trump tweets. I really don't care. What's the important issue is that Prime Minister Theresa May offered Donald Trump a state visit moments after he was elected president. I said at the time, I don't think a state visit was appropriate, and my views haven't changed.
Plus, the leaked document that may show Russia's involvement in last year's presidential election. That's tonight on PBS NewsHour, starting at 7, right here on KPBS. This week marks the 50th anniversary of the Arab-Israeli Six-Day War. NPR's Greg Meyer explains how the 1967 war remains unresolved and shapes the Middle East to this day.
The Six-Day War was a seismic event that even today continues to shape the Middle East. In 1967, 3 Arab armies, Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, massed troops on Israel's borders and called for its elimination. But Israel launched a lightning strike on June 5, 1967, rapidly defeating all 3 countries and tripling the land under its control. Here's how the region was transformed. First, Israel went from being seen as this tiny, plucky nation fighting for survival to the regional powerhouse. Israel is still at odds with many neighbors. It's never settled basic questions such as what are its borders. But it has prospered and built a powerful economy and military. Second, Arab states suffered a humiliating defeat. Their many losses included the eastern part of Jerusalem, home to Muslim holy sites. This marked a point when many Arabs began to question whether their leaders could deliver on grandiose promises. Palestinian leaders haven't been able to end Israel's occupation. Egyptian and Syrian leaders have fared poorly. Over the years, many Arabs have turned away from secular leaders, and we've seen a rise in radical Islamist groups. Third, the United States has become much more involved in the Middle East in an attempt to make it more stable. The U.S. provides more military assistance to Israel than any other country. The U.S. has served as the main broker in peace talks. Israel has made peace with Egypt and Jordan, but there have also been many failures, like the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian feud. That brief war in 1967 has ripple effects that influence the conflicts we see today in the Middle East.
Well, it looks like June gloom is sticking around. Jeff Cornish has tonight's forecast.
The nightly invasion of low clouds that we call the marine layer will roll back in later on tonight and push a little bit inland, but not too far inland. And we'll see some improvements during the day tomorrow. It remains a scorcher in the desert all week long. Very hot weather continues, but there's a hint of a cool down this weekend and especially into early next week. So if you're looking for relief from the heat, if you're tuning in from one of those inland deserts, it's going to be a lot nicer for you in a few brief days. Satellite and radar doesn't bring a whole lot of excitement except for maybe 3 or 4 high clouds in the sky earlier, and that's just about it. Not much in the way of cloud cover for us. Off to the west, though, a couple thousand miles away, maybe about 8,000 miles away, there's a stripe of clouds over the Pacific, and that is a front that's going to be pushing into the interior northwest, and eventually it'll get a little farther south, so we will feel some impacts as it washes out over the southwestern U.S. in the next few days. That happens this weekend. Tonight, though, 62 with not many changes compared to where we have been. The low clouds roll back in, and we'll see temperatures get down to around 60 in Poway, 54 into Alpine, and Borrego Springs about 67 tonight. A little warmer off to the east. San Diego, 62 for your overnight low. And here you can see we remain very, very hot across the interior southwest. Isolated storms way out there into Colorado, not our issue. And we'll begin to see a little bit of cooler air roll in a few short days off to the north and west. And here we have the Wednesday forecast, 79 in Ramona. Not a bad day. Oceanside a nice 70 and 68 in San Diego. Later this week, here comes that big dip in the jet stream associated with our front, and that spells relief into the inland deserts. The coastal 5-day shows we're going to be hovering in the low 70s with that daily invasion of low clouds. They give way to brighter skies every day by midday or into the afternoon. Inland areas flirting with 80 on Thursday, low clouds and then some sunshine, and we're dealing with temps dipping down into the mid-70s on Sunday. Mountainous areas also see a temperature drop associated with that front, falling into the mid-60s by Sunday. Still low to mid-70s until then. And here's where we were really looking forward to the relief. Triple-digit heat for Wednesday and Thursday, down into the low 90s on Sunday, and Monday might even be cooler. For KPBS News, I'm Jeff Cornish.
There's some reassuring news for breast cancer survivors who want to have children. A new study finds the risk of cancer coming back are no worse for women who get pregnant. AP reporter Cindy Sharp has the story.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. It was a long road and a difficult decision that brought a baby boy into the lives of Sarah and Tom Murray.
Had a mammogram and a biopsy and was diagnosed. I was 29 years old.
4 years ago, Sarah Murray found out she had breast cancer.
And we were planning our wedding. Cancer was the furthest thing from our minds.
After her diagnosis, one of her first thoughts was whether she could have children one day. Typical treatment for hormone-fueled breast cancer includes 5 years of hormone-suppressing drugs, like tamoxifen, which aren't safe during pregnancy and may prevent it. Many survivors of hormone-driven tumors choose not to have children for fear of recurrence. But a new European study suggests the hormone surge during pregnancy does not increase risk.
There's actually a fair bit of data that suggests that women who go on to have a baby do just as well as women who don't go on to have a baby after breast cancer.
The study found that 12 years after conception, recurrence rates among women who gave birth versus those who didn't were similar. But it's not just fear of repeat cancer that can keep women from getting pregnant.
So it's the aging process that's actually hurting the fertility during that time for a woman.
The average age of mothers is rising in the U.S., and more women are being diagnosed in their childbearing years. 11% of new breast cancer cases are in women under 45. Another study is currently testing the safety of temporarily stopping hormone therapy before 5 years to allow for a baby.
Doesn't mean these women aren't at risk, and it's a really tough decision.
Murray stopped the drugs and is the first American in the study to have a child.
Having a family was something that I always came back to as part of my survivorship. You know, the fear of not living out my life was greater than the fear of recurrence.
It was a risk she was willing to take that resulted in her 5-month-old son, Owen. Cindy Sharp, Associated Press.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.